For Bob Peters, family comes first, but he has another passion:
Open minds, open doors.
sticking up for people with disabilities.
I wanted access myself, but in doing so, I found out that there's a whole lot of people out there, 10–15% of the population has a disability of one way or another.
Bob has been in a wheelchair for more than 50 years. He was injured during a shallow water diving accident while swimming in northern Wisconsin.
I kind of flopped and my head hit the bottom of the lake and I broke vertebrae C4 and 5, and it totally paralyzed me for life, permanently.
But Bob didn't let his disability disable him. After a year of rehab, he went back to work and retired in 2004.
My boss at the time said that if you could hold that pencil, you've got a job. I don't know if that would happen today.
While Bob had a full-time career, he worked overtime to help make Bloomington and the state friendly for people in wheelchairs. And having the same parking signage from town to town was key.
Every community had a different way of doing it, and I felt that there should be some sort of continuity and consistency throughout the state. And through the help with the state Senate, we got a bill I testified a bill, and we developed a consistent and continuity throughout the whole state, which became part again of the ADA.
An accomplishment that was a group effort. He credits Human Services, community development, and local leaders.
I was very, very grateful that Bloomington had an open mind and very progressive.
But Bob's efforts didn't stop with parking. He was also an early advocate for metro mobility.
It's totally throughout the state. It's a system whereby a person with a disability can call with their registration number and get a ride from their home to a doctor appointment or grocery shopping or anything like that.
And some of these ideas made it all the way to Washington, D.C., when the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed in 1990.
The ordinances in Bloomington, a number of them eventually became state statutes, and many of those state statutes were put into the ADA.
A piece of legislation that means a lot to Bob. This is what he said about ADA back in 1992.
The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was so significant for people of color and people of minorities that this is a parallel to the Civil Rights Act of '64. It's highly significant to all people with disabilities.
But 25 years later, Bob says there's still room to grow.
Attitudes are still not where you want them to be. People need to be more aware of disability awareness.
And he's looking to help accomplish that with his book, A Dive Too Deep.
It didn't take 13 years to write it, but it was a total of 13 years off and on. Oftentimes it was very hard to write about some of the things I had to recollect. Some of them were tearjerkers. Some of them I realized how hard it was for life living with a disability. But again, I was lucky.
To have support from his family, former boss, and city officials.
My life is good and I have no regrets. Like I said, I thrived because of my disability. And in that respect, I have no regrets.
An inspiring outlook from a man who has spent his life inspiring change.